What's up, Comic Book Nation? BD here. Today we have a very special guest. We're doing a little impromptu After the Dead this Wednesday afternoon, evening, wherever you are. It might be different. We have a special guest. We're doing a live interview, so bring your questions, drop them below, because we have none other than Fat Joey himself, Joshua Hoover, joining us on The Walking Dead on Comicbook.com. Joshua, man, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man, we're excited. I think of all those deaths in that premiere, or in that season finale, mid-season finale rather, Fat Joey was one of the most heartbreaking because we lost Olivia and Spencer, but you seem to be the one we talked about most. But really, here's my first question for you. It really looked like Fat Joey was going all the way up with Negan, who we know loves to lean back, but things started to slow down for him when Daryl decided to get it popping and make it rain with his face. Safe to say we all wanted Fat Joey to go another round. So
That was amazing.
That was
Thank
6 Fat
you.
Joe songs in one question, and the question was, were you as sad to see Joey go as we were to lose you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've heard so many theories now that could have been, Daryl grabbing me and throwing me on the back of his motorcycle and us riding off and me changing over to the good side. I mean, that would have been fun. I mean, I love all the theories that I've heard. I love the way that it went down. I was heartbroken. I was bummed to find out. I mean, the day I showed up and, died on set, everybody was just kind of like, "We're so sorry." And I was just like, "Yeah, me too." But it was a blast, man. It was a great experience.
But you can confirm Fat Joey is definitely dead. Because we didn't actually see it.
I don't know if you've seen the last of Fat Joey. I will say that.
Hey, that's all right. I'll take it. But I'm wondering, because we didn't actually see, the death. I mean, the Walking Dead with the season premiere, it was bloody, it was gory. I'm wondering, did you guys do a bloodier, gorier take on set than actually made the cut of the show?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah? They did a full head bash for you?
Oh yeah, I took a hit. I took a hit on the head from Mr. Norman Reedus, and it was a good hit. Norman Reedus has swung a metal pipe before in his life, I think. So, yeah, I got hit right square on the head, and there was the special effects that they do with the blood packet. They had a blood packet on the pipe, and it just went everywhere, and everybody said it looked so awesome, but also pretty graphic. So I'm assuming that's why they didn't show that angle, or
right.
They probably had a little bit too much already with Spencer's guts. But yeah, there was definitely another shot, and I'd like to see that footage.
Yeah, me too, man. I hope they show that someday, maybe at Comic-Con next year. You basically got Lucille. I mean, do you have a Lucille now, right?
Thanks to Talking Dead, I finally have my Lucille. I'm so thrilled. I haven't gone to the batting range yet, but it's been fun.
How do you think Negan will react when he learns about Fat Joey's death? I mean, we have 2 months until we find out. What do you think is going to go down at the sanctuary?
I know what happened, so I can't really talk about it too much, but
tell us everything.
I mean, the thing is, I think you guys were the ones that did the article about, Fat Joseph having a little bit more of a meaning, and not even just for the technical stuff, but I mean, he doesn't talk to a lot of the saviors, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Negan doesn't interact with a lot of the saviors as much as you see. I mean, you have hundreds of guys that are down there in that sanctuary, and it's just kind of yeah, I felt lucky to have a lot of screen time with Negan and do the scenes that we had, and it was awesome to work with Jeffrey. He is amazing, man. I'm such a fan. The way he plays Negan is beyond. So,
right.
Yeah, I definitely think he's gonna be upset. He might be vengeful. He might. I don't know. I don't know all that happens, but I know that has some few choice words to say about it.
Oof. Right. Yeah, that does, what you just mentioned brings me to my next question. How was it? I mean, you got to work with Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Norman Reedus, and no pun intended, but right off the bat, you're tossed into the mix with two of the show's heavy hitters. What was that whole experience like? Was it ever a little bit intimidating?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really hit me until the second episode that I shot. So I did episode 3, which was originally 2, and then I did episode 7 and 8. Episode 7, I was sitting there with the other 2 saviors that got killed off right away, and we were just talking about how big of a show it was, and Norman was sitting there, Jeffrey was there, and we were all shooting that scene where Carl shows up, and it was just kind of like, yeah, this is. I had that moment that day, and maybe it was because I didn't get my sides for that episode. I was like really nervous about what I was going to be doing, and then I had that whole dialogue outside the truck with like the redirect and everything. I had none of that until I showed up on set, just because they're so secretive about people showing up and all that kind of stuff. But it was that day that I was like, man, we're on the biggest show. We're doing some amazing stuff, and I had that humbling experience, and it was amazing. Yeah, I was really thankful and very happy to be a part of it, only to die the next episode.
Well, hey man, that's an incredible experience, and I hope it comes in as the big break. Maybe it'll lead to really great things, which I want to talk to you about, see what's next before we leave. But that thing you talked about, the redirect, our Charlie Ridgely wrote an article about that earlier this week. I know you saw it. I saw you tweeting about it and talking to people about it. I know you can't say too much, but I'm wondering, is that a factor? What was Joey's role in that? Is that something that we will see pay off later in the show?
I honestly have no clue. I never got a script. It's so secretive over there, man.
Right.
I have no idea what's to come. So I can honestly say I have no clue what that's gonna spur. But I talked to Scott Gimple at the rap party, and he just was like, "Yeah, we loved Fat Joey. It's such a bummer he had to go so early, but you were like one of those lovable characters that we had to show that turn for Daryl.
Right.
Like Daryl is having that moment now where it's like he just went full Negan on me, So what's separating him from the bad guys?"
Right.
So.
Now, here's one you might be able to answer. We'll just dig into our imaginations here. But what kind of person do you think Joey was prior to the apocalypse, and why do you think he started following Negan? I mean, I don't know if you guys had those conversations on set or if you just make this up as an actor, but how would you fill in those blanks if you were telling the story?
Oh, if I was like going into the backstory of Joey, I mean, I think he was smart. He's definitely I think Charlie was onto something with how smart he was, because he was trusted with a lot of the more techie type stuff, and I love that because I'm drawn to tech, computers and cameras and all that kind of stuff. I love all of that realm of world. But yeah, I mean, I think he did whatever he needed to do to live comfortably. And I think Negan was the best option of that. I think that was kind of an easy street, not to pun it up there, but it really was. Okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, Joey was focused on that for sure, I think, and it was fun, man. I mean, everybody, like, even the scene that I had with Jeffrey when I brought Lucille back, like, I think that really defined how he looked at Negan. You know what I mean? He's a yes man. Anything you need, sir. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, sir. Okay. Yeah. Oh, funny. Oh, no. I'll stop, sir. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
So I don't think he would have ever been one to like step up and be like, no, what you're doing is wrong. But at the same time, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this stuff, but in my original audition, I was supposed to have heart. You know what I mean? Like, the original sides were me. I was a border patrol guy, and I was about to shoot a kid. I was about to shoot a kid that was sneaking over the border, and my army pal or whoever I was with was like, hey man, take him out. And I was like, come on, man, it's a kid, you know?
Wow.
Like that's basically where Fat Joey came from, I guess. But
Yeah, it seems
I think that they built the character with some heart, and I love having a little bit of heart and some dramatic stuff like that. So
right.
it's cool.
That seems like a pretty fitting background for a lot of the saviors in that audition, I gotta say. But I'm reading some of the comments here. We have our live comment section. So if you guys watching right now have questions, leave them below. We'll get to them. Lisa Long complimented your smile. And everyone else kind of wants to know, why didn't you just drop the sandwich and shoot Daryl? What was so good about that sandwich, man?
You know, man. I mean, if you're going to town on a sandwich, you have nothing else on your mind except for, all right, what's going on with this sandwich? And then, whoa, what are you doing out of your cell? Whoa, I don't mean to do anything wrong. I apologize. Boom, you know? So.
And now here's a good question from Blake Blackburn.
Yeah.
He says, was there a meaning behind behind Fat Joey being that Daryl got to release his anger on the torture by Negan? Like, you think that was a little symbolic? He kind of just touched on that.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, he just saw two of his family members die. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
They talk about Glenn the way that they do, and they talk about, you know, Michael, Abraham, and yeah, I mean, I think vengeance is completely real with Daryl.
Yeah.
You know?
And now we'll wrap it up with this one.
I don't think that's the end of it.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up with this one from David Michael. I like this question a lot. If Fat Joey were still alive and the all-out war came about between Rick's communities and Negan and the Saviors, and Joey had the opportunity to go to the good guys, who the audience sees as the good guys, do you think Joey would have switched sides and aligned himself with Rick given the opportunity?
If he thought there was an opportunity that Negan wouldn't come for him, I think there would be some type of turning point. Yeah, I think that Joey had a good heart, and I think that he wanted to survive and do it with people that he felt comfortable around. I mean, my buddy Cooper Andrews got hired on the show, and he's playing Jerry, and you'll see more of him later on this season. But I really was hoping for some kind of all-out battle royale between the Kingdom and Saviors, you know, and like having that moment come, like the comics or whatever. But yeah, I definitely think I would have been down to switch teams, which is bad because I love Jeffrey.
We won't tell him. We won't tell him because he will Lucille the both of us. But I think that Jerry and Joey are both two of the fan favorite characters this season, and there's no way anybody could have seen that coming before the season started.
Yeah. It was crazy. We worked on *Halt and Catch Fire* for 2 seasons together, and then we both got hired this season on *Walking Dead*. So it's been awesome to work with so many friends and have such a great experience on the show.
And what's next for you? Before we hang up, I do have to ask, what do you have coming up? Where can we see you again?
I'm going to be, I have a little part in Brockmire, the new IFC baseball show. So I'm carrying more baseball bats. And
treat them like a lady.
I'm going to be in 3 movies this year. Yeah. I'm going to be in 3 movies this year. The Leisure Seeker with Donald Sutherland and Helen Mirren. I had a great scene with them. Logan Lucky with Soderbergh directed that one. Logan Lucky with Channing Tatum and Adam Driver. Had a really good time with that. And then I also just got done, and that's why my hair is a little crazy right now, with Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Wow, man,
that's so cool. Go ahead and check that all out. The long haul.
I bet that's a lot of fun.
I think it's May 19th, so it'll be good.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We will be following along with all your future endeavors, and we're very excited. And we can't thank you enough for joining us, man. I know everyone watching at home is grateful for you joining us, and I'm grateful to have you.
Thanks, Brandon. It was nice to meet you, man. I love the show, and thanks for having me on. This is awesome.
Thanks, man. And thank you for watching Comic Book Nation. On behalf of Comicbook.com, I'm Brandon Davis. We'll see you soon.